Hello, and welcome back to season 3 of Thriving Grace.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. I think both me and Abby are feeling the pressure a bit more because if you haven't heard, this is also available on YouTube. So, hello to our YouTuber watchers.
Everyone. I feel like we need to reintroduce ourselves because they might not know which one's which.
I know. Yeah. Okay. Go on then. Introduce yourself. Say what your name is and your favourite flavour of ice cream.
Oh gosh, I'm Abby. My favourite flavour of ice cream is Ben and Jerry's half baked.
Oh,
yours?
Okay. Is that the one that's like slightly healthy but not really?
No, definitely not.
I like that one actually.
It's got cookie
my
dough
name is
and
Ellie.
brownies.
Oh,
Cookie dough and brownies is really good, and a mixture of both vanilla and chocolate ice cream.
I actually think that's the one that's like less than 300 calories.
I don't think so.
Oh, that would be the
If
dream if it was.
Then that is the dream.
Yeah, the dream. Anyway, so my name is Ellie, and my favourite flavour of ice cream is... I think it's got to be the Ben & Jerry's chocolate chip. Or Pizza Express strawberry ice cream.
Wow,
that's my favourite ice cream in the world.
Very specific.
That was always what I had. Anyways, welcome back or welcome. We're very excited for everything that this season holds. And as usual, it's no different here on season 3. We need our weird question from Abby.
We do. I love these. I feel like, and then they become more weird as the season goes on because I haven't had so much time to think about it. But today's one's a bit more normal. Have to start a bit normal. And it is, what was your series of 2020? TV series?
Oh, okay, of 2020.
It's a tricky one.
You go first. You've had longer to think.
Okay, I've been struggling to think about what I actually watched in 2020 because it all felt like a bit of a blur. But mine was actually pre-lockdown anyway, and pre-COVID. I'm pretty sure I watched it, and that is New Girl.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've just started watching it from the beginning because I've seen bits and pieces of it, but I've never seen it from the beginning. So
yeah, it's really good. I recommend.
Yeah, but I started that in 2021. I am obsessed with The Crown at the moment, but I started it in 2020, but I really got into it in 2021. So what represents 2020?
Tiger King. We watched that together.
We did watch that together. I feel like that just represents 2020 anyway. Yeah. Or do you remember that Netflix program Say I Do, and it had all the weddings?
Yes, and we also watched, what was the other one that we watched where they went on an island together? Too Hot to Handle.
Too Hot to Handle.
That was
thinking about it. My 2020 one, and I forgot this was in 2020, but I think it was Love Is Blind.
Oh yes,
I was obsessed with Love Is Blind. I love a bit of reality TV. If you haven't worked that out already,
your one then.
Yeah, Love Is Blind. Okay. I really thoroughly enjoyed that.
Yeah, that's a good answer. To be fair, that was good. Right. Yeah. So today, being our first episode back and first episode of the new year, if you were with us last series, we spoke a bit at the end about how we picked a word for 2020 and we took that word through the year. And that we were going to read it for this year. So that is what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be revealing our words, which we have actually already revealed on our Instagram by the point that this comes out. But we're going to just be chatting about it a bit more here. So first off, do you want to just explain why we do a word for the year? Yeah,
so I mentioned it on the last podcast. I first heard this idea from the As For Me and My House podcast by Malena Ciciotti and her husband Jordan, and essentially it's just praying for a word, asking God to give us a word that stirs your heart for the year, and it's just to focus on and something to build on and something to develop on with God as your partner along. And it's just lovely because it's what he's chosen for you and what he wants to speak to you about. So
yeah,
it's great.
I'd say that's
I recommend
my favorite part about it is the fact that it's not just okay, this is a word that I like. It's not you're picking a word like knitting, I want to start knitting this year. It's a word that you really feel as if God's placed on your heart is something that either you need to work on a bit more for your own benefit or for someone else's benefit that you might bring into their life or something, which is why it's so great. So do you want to say what your word is? We can share.
Okay.
Do you want to go first?
Okay. Sure, mine is Drum roll.
Thank
Thank you very much. It is control. But I will explain more.
Yeah, we'll get into
that. Yeah.
Every time we've spoken about our words and Ellie said that hers is control, I've always just wanted to break into song of Controller by Drake. That's going to be maybe the song of the year for us.
Love it.
Mine this year is intentionality.
Love it. Love it.
Word. So, do you want to say why that word? Why?
Yeah.
Control your word for 2021.
Yeah, so control is my word for 2021 because, well, 2021 is a big year for me. A lot is happening. I'm in third year, so it means that I'll be graduating. I need to find a job. I need to decide where to live. My sister's getting married, which is really, really exciting, but that's going to be a big change in like our family and my life. And just a lot's happening. And so the obvious part of that is that like I need to give God control over that and over my life and just say, you know what happens, and it will go according to his plan. But I think there's also a second part to it, and it's ever growing. Like there is always more coming out, and I think that's the point of having a word, that God teaches you more as the year comes on. But I'm a very reflexive person, so like I don't know, I can't think of an example. And I'm a very reflexive person, so just kind of learning to, I guess, one, control and practice the self-control, which is the fruit, one of the fruits of the spirits, but also like, I don't know, learning to make my decisions in the spirit and my reactions to things. And yeah, I guess that will unfold as the year goes on, which I'm excited for.
Yeah, that's great.
What about yours? Tell us about intentionality.
I was a bit surprised that this was my word for this year and that I was prompted a bit, because I feel like it's a word that I use a lot. Both me and Ellie were saying that it's a word that is very much in like our little like own personal dictionary. And I'm that person that whenever me and Ellie talk about like a relationship in general, whether that's with a future partner maybe or even just friendships, the one thing we always say is they just need to be intentional. And I just love the word. But I feel as if this year God really wants to just like put it into my life even more than just like wanting people around me to be intentional. Like I also need to be intentional in other ways, and first of all being like intentional with not setting too high expectations for this year, and because I think it's easy to think 2020 was a bit rubbish, well, very rubbish. 2021 is going to be so great, it's going to be completely different, like it's going to be amazing. But literally, like, what's the date whilst we're filming this? The 13th of January, and we are currently in a lockdown, and that is not how I was expecting 2021 to be. So I think it's intentionally like not setting too high expectation in this year, and just kind of not putting too many expectations on myself, not putting too many expectations on other people, and just not worrying about what this year may look like because I can't control it. And then another thing being way more intentional in my relationships, because I think like many people, I haven't seen my friends properly in months and months and months, and I'm such a people person that I'm like, I need to see these people, but actually like I'm not the only one feeling that. Like I know that all those people as well are feeling that as well. So I want to be a really intentional friend and making sure that they feel like really loved. And even people that I don't know, I think at this time where people are so disconnected, it's hard to connect to new people. But actually I just want to be really intentional this year of like meeting, when I do meet new people, just showing them kindness, because I think that's something that we're lacking a lot in the world at the minute. And then the last thing, which is probably the most important thing, is just being so much more intentional with spending time with God and just really putting that as my priority, like praying, reading my Bible, worshipping. And I think it's easy to think like, I don't know about all of you, but with like not going to church and not being able to have that usual kind of church experience that we were used to, and usual like worshipping and all of that, I've really missed it. And I found myself being like, oh, I just can't have that because I can't go to church. But actually there's other ways that you can do that. So I want to be really intentional with like making my own ways and just spending time doing that this year. So that is my word. And as you said, one of the things I love about how we pick a word for this year is actually like by the end of this year, like this time in 11 and a half months, we'll be saying like, oh, at the beginning of the year I thought intentionality and control meant this, but actually it ended up being completely different, and that is what's so fun about it. So carry on, you say.
No, I was just saying to you, when we were lucky enough before lockdown to be able to go for a walk, and I was saying how I actually every year write a letter about like my word and what I think it's going to be and whatever, and I read my word for like the letter for my word last year, just before I rewrote the letter for this year. And as I mentioned in the last podcast before Christmas, mine was balance, and how I wanted to like achieve balance. And the poor gal that was writing that letter had no idea how she was going to learn to be balanced and to practice balance. Like she had no idea what was going to hit her. But actually, like I was saying, like the way that I learned it was no way how I had planned, but it was how God had planned, because he knew that was going to happen. So it's really cool to look back on how you think that you're going to learn that word, but actually God has crazy other plans for it.
For sure. 100%. So what practical things are you going to do this year in order to get more control, be more controlled, all of that?
So I constantly go on about the like importance of community and how like you've got to choose who speaks into your life and all that, and so I'm practicing what I preach, and I have picked certain friends already, and I've kind of come to this conclusion over like the course of last year. But one of the ways I'm super reflexive is if I feel like uncomfortable or too like vulnerable, I make a joke. That's just me, just to kind of diffuse tension, and also to be like, yo, can you like back off, you're getting too close, which I mean I'm reading a book about, so we're all good, we're getting there, we're on a journey. But actually, like I think it's probably like 3 friends that I've told, and I've said, if I make a joke and you know it's because I'm uncomfortable, call me out on it, say you're uncomfortable, stop making jokes, like, and that is okay. And actually, like, I know it's not a mean thing because I've asked them to do it, and actually, like, it's just checking in with yourself, and sometimes I won't even catch when I'm doing it. So it's really good to have those people in place to be like, this is where you need to practice control. So I think that's the main thing, and I think that's really important. What about you?
I did spend a bit of time the other day thinking about like what things am I going to do this year to really like be more intentional. And one thing that I did was the other day I ordered a new Bible, which is so exciting. Who doesn't love to buy new things, let alone a new Bible? But I'm such a visual person and such a creative person that just reading isn't for me. So I bought a journaling Bible with the hope that then I'll be able to read it much more and be happy to actually go and sit there with a pen. And I'm also quite like a perfectionist with like my things, in terms of like, if I make notes in a Bible, they need to look nice, they need to look neat, my highlighting needs to look great. Whereas like this Bible is like one of my many Bibles that I have, because I have a few, but it means that this one is like specifically like I can just go to town with just like writing my thoughts, and I think that would be really helpful for like, meaning I can just literally like word vomit on a page, and just like have this like conversation with God as well whilst reading, which I think will be really helpful. And then the other kind of things was that I have always loved getting post, and always loved sending people cards, and I basically just like bought a shed ton of really cute cards, postcards, things like this, and I want to just like try and send as many people as I possibly can this year. But obviously it's really hard because it's so suspicious to like be like, hey, what's your address? Like, that's obvious. So I need to try and think of some good ways to just get people's addresses without them knowing, but also without being creepy. So
yeah.
they're my main things. And I think as well, just like, I'm such my personality is very like go with the flow. I'm a very laid back person, but also I can be quite like anxious and like wrapped up in my own thoughts, that it's very like 50-50 with like trying to like plan my life out and being like worried about how life is, but also like not really having that carefree attitude as well, and having that like balance of both is sometimes quite tricky. So I think I want to make actually the most out of that more carefree side, because I think sometimes I suppress it, being a bit like, oh no, I need to be quite serious with like life, but actually like I want to bring that side of me a bit more to life, because I feel as if in 2021 it was a bit of a downer year, that side of Abby got a bit down and she kind of went down under the surface, so we want to bring her up. So yeah, just being a bit more like happy to just take life as it comes, and like being okay with that. So they are my main things. So
love that.
They are our words. I have one more question for us both.
Okay.
To end this, and that is, what are you most excited about for 2021? As you said, it's a big year for you.
It is.
Most excited about?
I think I'm just most excited to like, I don't know, like know or like find out where it's all leading to. And it's not like a case of like, oh, I want it to lead here, so I'm excited for it to lead here. It's more like, I have no idea. And like, I'm fully submitting to the fact that, God, like, this is my year, do what you want with it. And so I'm just really excited to go along with that journey and find out where he's going to take me. And just kind of, I know last year I was very intentional about, you know, staying behind God and staying a few steps behind, instead of like trying to drag him my way, like just stay behind and see what he does. And yeah, so I'm excited to carry on doing that. And I don't know, like this year just provides such an opportunity for bigger things to happen, just because of the stage of life that I'm at. So I'm excited to just follow behind and find out what happens.
That's really
and I'm also so excited for my sister's wedding, because we love weddings and I'm maid of honor, and it's just
that's so really exciting. Such an exciting.
What are you excited for?
I think I'm excited for, I don't know, I think just this feeling of like, I know even though this year isn't going to be like ideal and it's not going to be normal, but that idea that actually like there is hope that some normality is coming back. And I think I'm looking forward most to just summer again, and having that time where even if we still have to be all distance and all of this, that we can just see people much easier, maybe hopefully go on holiday, and just like that kind of, I'm looking forward to the activities that this year will bring, because I want to be much more intentional with just like doing fun, spontaneous things. So that's what I'm excited for.
I love that. Oh, it's going to be a good year. I keep saying it's the one for the gals, you know what I mean? Like, it's the year of the gals.
Yes,
I'm excited
I agree.
for it.
I'm also really excited for what we're going to be doing on Thrive and Grace this year.
Oh yeah,
just putting out there.
Yes, can't wait.
Yes, so if you are watching on YouTube and you literally have no clue who we are, go to our Instagram. Go on, Ellie, give it a plug.
It is at thrive.in.grace. There's some sick stuff over there, and I can say that because Abby's the one that does most of it, and it looks beaut. So
Thanks. And equally, if you're listening but not watching, go over to our YouTube channel. You can find it through the link in our bio in our Instagram, and subscribe, because then you'll be able to watch us, which is fun.
Yes.
So yeah, and we'll see you next week for another fun podcast.
Cannot wait. Hope you've enjoyed,
and have a good week.
I can be your third man dog, just a symptom you've forgotten. You slip me